You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service. This is all about our people, our programs, our partnerships. We love being here every Friday, 1 to 2 p.m., and we talk about a lot of things that are going on in Extension. And we also have lots of guests that we highlight to promote the things that we're doing and to share with our partnerships and that kind of thing. So throughout the show, I'll tell you a little bit about the things that are going on. One of the things that we have is the Texas Community Futures Forum. But wait, you know what? Before I get into that, I need to talk about who's in the studio with us today. So this is like the Justin and Joe show because we got Justin Saenz and Joe Picken. And so I would call you guys the new kids on the block, but I think that name's already taken. But you are the new kids on the block, right, in the extension office. Justin, you've been with us since August?
Since August, about 7 months now.
Yeah. Well, tell us about yourself.
Well, like Amy said, my name is Justin Saenz. I'm been with the agency for 4.5 years now. I started out in Fort Bend County as a 4-H and youth development agent, and I transferred over here to Montgomery County as the urban and youth agent.
Yeah, so we are glad to have you here with us. And then, Joe, you started, what was your first date?
January the 14th.
And you're serving as our 4-H program assistant.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit about you.
I have been working in schools around the Houston area, but are now able to focus on those that are in Montgomery County. So I'm happy to join the 4-H team here and to work a little more on taking our curriculum that we have available and making it more accessible.
Okay, great. We are really glad to have you. So speaking of the curriculum and the programs and the things that we do, I kind of got ahead of myself because I wanted to talk about the Texas Community Futures Forum because that's one of the things that we do. So it's a strategic planning process. And this is actually, did you do TCFF in Fort Bend County?
Yes, back in 14,
Yep.
I think, 15.
Yeah, we do it every 5 years. So did it in 14 to prepare. So it was 15 through 20. And so 20 through 25, we'll start a new one. So 20, wow, that sounds crazy, right? 2025. So it sounds like a long time in the future, but it's part of strategic planning. You've got to know where you're going or you won't get where you need to be. So it's kind of like a mapping of our programs and where we're going to go, what kinds of things are important. So actually the question that's asked is, in the next 3 to 5 years, what are the issues facing Montgomery County? And we'll focus specifically on Montgomery County because obviously that's where we're at, that's where we're working. And so we want to make sure that the things that we're doing in Montgomery County fit the needs of Montgomery County. So things in Fort Bend County, where Justin came from, may be a little different. Some of the things may be very similar, but also very different. So it's every extension program is really tailored to that county and the needs that are there. So that's one of the ways we do that is through TCFF. Okay, so I also want to tell you about some other things that are going on, and we're going to focus a lot on the 4-H program because you guys are here. Like, we're going to get the firsthand knowledge of it. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ag programs that are coming up. So we've mentioned this a few times, but just make sure you've got it on your calendar if it's something that you're interested in. The Soil and Forage Analysis and Fertility Program, that will be on Thursday, February 28th. So that's actually next week, 6 p.m. at the Extension office. Then the private pesticide applicator training is going to come up on Tuesday, April 2nd, at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Again, that's going to be at the Extension office. And then the freeze branding clinic for horses will be Tuesday, May 21st. So there's a little bit of time before that. That's going to be at the Fair Park Expo. But I mentioned those couple of things are going to go on at the Extension office. The Extension office is at 9020 Airport Road. We're right across the street from the Lone Star Convention Center. And we were just talking before we went on how we have several phone numbers that we use, but 936-539-7825 is one of them. And that'll get you to, we have like this menu system so you can pick who you need to talk to. So for the ag programs, it's Brandon Gregson or it is April Fagan. So, but if you were calling the 4-H office, then you might ask for Michelle Mahalik or Jennifer Dirks or Justin Saenz or Joe Pickens or any of them. Actually, we hopefully communicate well enough that we can tell everybody what's going on or get you to the right person to get the information that you need. In fact, at one point we were talking about, or we can use this tagline, the place to go when you need to know. So we do have lots and lots of information about lots of things. So what are you guys excited about that's coming up?
So probably one of the biggest things that we have coming up is actually going to be happening next weekend. It's going to be the Texas Wildlife and Woodlands Expo. I'm going to kind of hand that over a little bit to Joe, and she's going to mention a little bit about what the Wildlife Woodlands Expo is. But from the extension side, our office has had a partnership with the Wildlife and Woodlands Expo, being a part of the steering committee. So we attend committee meetings throughout the year to plan the event. So we will definitely have a booth there on campus where we will have information on 4-H for the kids that are attending. It is a free event for the youth to attend, but I'm going to hand it over to Joe.
The times on that are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it's taking place at Lone Star College in Montgomery, which is actually in the Woodlands. And there's going to be all sorts of activities, hands-on things where the public can come and ask the experts if they have questions, kind of hopefully find a person that will be specific knowledge based on their questions. And then there's activities, lots of hands-on. All of the booths from different organizations will offer kids the chance to do things like enjoy kayaking or archery. They'll play a game with ducks and a hand pump moving ducks down the way. That's a conservation of water kind of activity. There'll be catfish on site and lots of other fun things. There'll be Friends of Texas Wildlife will be there with some live animals. They are taking care of or rehabbing animals and sometimes permanently have to home animals that can't be re-released into the wild because they aren't able to take care of themselves anymore. And so they do things like this as public outreach to kind of educate the public. But there's, again, all sorts of things. They're inviting Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts to come and see if they can pursue some of their badges on that day to further their education. You name it, there's a little bit of everything for everyone. And it's very accessible being there in the Woodlands, kind of centrally located.
Yeah. Okay, so what day is this?
It's going to be March 2nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. there at the Lone Star College there in the Woodlands. But one thing we're super excited about this year that most folks might not know about is it's Smokey's birthday, and it's a very special birthday.
Smokey the bear?
Smokey the bear, yes. So Smokey the bear will be on hand on Saturday, and he's turning 75 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this year. So we have a celebration lined out for Smokey.
You have birthday cake?
We're not going to have a birthday cake, but we are going to have cupcakes.
Oh, nice.
Smokey the Bear cupcakes. And those are going to be, I believe, provided by the culinary students from Conroe High School. Are going to be preparing somewhere about 1,000 cupcakes. So we'll have cupcakes, and there's going to be food out there, but mainly there's going to be an opportunity for the kids to actually come and meet Smokey the Bear and help him celebrate his 75th birthday.
Bring him birthday presents? You don't have to bring presents.
No presents,
just
but
your presence will be the present. So the whole family's invited, right? So if kids are more than welcome. It's a very kid-friendly environment. Is there any charge for it?
It is completely free to attend.
Awesome. And so we mentioned the Lone Star College campus, the Montgomery campus. It's called Lone Star College Montgomery, but it's actually in the Woodlands. So that gets a little confusing, I know. But it's right there on
located on 242.
Yeah, what is it, like 3200, 242? So what? Because it is kind of, it's a bigger campus than than maybe you would expect at first. Because there's a few different entrances. So what part of the campus is it going to be on?
Fairly central, and there'll be signs posted on that day. Just take one of the main entrances, and then the signs will kind of direct you around to where you need to park, and then a little bit of a walk. There is an on-site parking garage, and I know they'll be able to park in the garage that day, and also there's ground parking.
Okay, so it'll be easy to find your way around, lots of signage, and you won't be too lost. Yeah. So starting you said at 9 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay, 10 till
4 p.m.
4. So it's a come and go, lots of activities that'll be going on. So Joe, you mentioned kayaking. We're actually going to get in kayaks and
they have
some water? And
yes, ma'am. They have a pool on site, and someone will bring the kayaks and actually the kids will have the opportunity to kind of, I'm guessing, a lot of them try it for the first time and just kind of see how it is, get a feel for it.
So as you mentioned, Extension has been partnering for several years on this because it's a community event. So it takes a lot of partners to make this happen. It's not just but who kind of heads it up to begin with?
The Lone Star Community College it started out as their spring festival, and they've partnered with the Texas Forest Service to kind of, along with the Montgomery County Beautification Association, to kind of make this grand Wildlife and Woodlands Expo. So it's a component of 3 organizations coming together. Like I said, the Lone Star College, the Texas Forest Service, and Montgomery County Fair Beautification Association.
Oh, great. So, and we mentioned you guys are kind of newbies, but do you have any idea how long this has been going on? For several years, right?
It's been about 16 years strong now.
Oh, wow.
They've been holding this event.
Okay, so why would a family want to come out to the expo?
It's free. It's a chance to experience a broad range of things that otherwise you'd have to, take the time to go to each individual type of activity. So that way you can kind of get the full spiel, see what your kids might be most interested in, find out things that you never thought they might have been interested in that you got to experience. And hey, now you know that they have an interest there. You didn't invest anything to find that information out, but it's very kid-friendly, family-friendly. Lots of things for them to do and enjoy and just have fun as a family. Be outside and kind of get to know what there is available to you in the area.
Yeah. So the real question is, why would you not go? Because there's so much there to offer. Okay, so we're going to talk some more about some 4-H programs. We're going to talk a little bit more about extension things that are happening. But we're going to take a little break before we do that. But you are listening to the Extension Hour right here on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 and 106.1 worldwide on irlonestar.com. We also, you know what? We have YouTube. We're on Facebook Live. But we're going to be right back. Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
An estimated 1 in 10 births will result in a neonatal intensive care stay, also known as the NICU. Overnight, a family can find themselves and their newborn baby in a critical situation. The Mila Foundation financially and spiritually assists families in need. If you would like to volunteer or become a monthly sponsor, please visit us at www.themilafoundation.org. Again, that's www.themilafoundation.org, because every life matters.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line, 936-647-3776, or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
Well, welcome back. This is the Extension Hour, all about Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service, the things that we do, the people we know, the places we go. There's so much that we like to talk about, just to let people know, because a lot of people really have no idea what Extension does. So, Justin, before you joined Extension, did you know what it was?
I did have previous background in Extension. I was a product of the 4-H system, so I joined 4-H when I was in 3rd grade all the way through 12th grade. So for 10 years, I was exposed to the 4-H programs and all the benefits that it has to offer.
Yeah. So what about you, Joe? How did you know about Extension before you? Or did you?
Well, I attended Texas A&M, so that was probably one of my original exposures to Extension. I was a 4-H member in college, and my kids have done a little bit of 4-Hing through the years before I became an employee of Extension.
Yeah. So I actually had no idea what Extension was growing up. I didn't know until they came to campus. So I went to Texas Tech University, and human development, family studies. They came to campus. They started talking about jobs as extension agents, and at that time it was I'm giving away my age, but it was still called home economics when I first started, and then they changed it to family and consumer sciences, and now we're family and community health. But I had no idea what it was, and so but I just thought that sounds really cool. And here I am more than 25 years later. So it is a good job. We do really good stuff. And, I've had other extension agents on the show before too. And we talk a lot, it's kind of it ends up being kind of a way of life. It becomes like part of your lifestyle is being part of extension. And then a lot of the volunteers that we have, it's, it's part of their lifestyle as well, because it really does affect and touch so much of people's lives. In fact, the tagline that we use now is helping Texans make their lives better. And that's really what it's all about. So we've got lots of great things that help Texans make their lives better. So our horticulture department is one of those. So it's part of kind of agricultural and natural resources, but horticulture, all about plants and growing things. And so one of the things, our Master Gardener Association, speaking of volunteers, there's like over 400 volunteers in the Master Gardener Association. And they are doing great outreach through a Saturday series of classes that they have. So every month on a Saturday, they have classes that are open to the public, anybody who's interested to come participate in those classes. So their next one coming up is on March 9th. And they will be working on are teaching about vegetables. So there's two different sessions. There's one in the morning that is 8 to 10, and then the other one is also in the morning, so 10:30 to 12:30. So they take a break. You can go to both. You can just go to one or the other, whatever your preference is. But the first one is called Honing In on Your Spring Vegetable Bounty. And then at 10:30, the second one will be the best ways to start your vegetables growing. So, that's one of the things, well, of course, I love in family and community health. We talk about vegetables. So, because vegetables are awesome, so good for being healthy and all that good stuff. So the vegetables is what they'll be talking about on March 9th. And then if you want to buy some plants so that you can start growing your own vegetable garden, the spring plant sale is coming up, and that's on March 23rd, which of course is a Saturday. They do a presentation at 8 a.m. and the sale is like 9 to 11. And speaking of loving vegetables, I got to talk about something else that we're doing in the Woodlands tomorrow, actually, Justin. The chef plate will be at the Woodlands Children's Museum. They're having the Fitness Frenzy. And a couple of weeks ago, we had talked with Carmen Ortega. She was our guest and was talking all about the Fitness Frenzy that we will be at. And they'll have lots of other stuff happening there at the Children's Museum as well. But Chef Plate is going to make an appearance at 10:30 and then another one at 11:30. So it's like Chef Plate and Professor Clover. So teaching kids all about my plate and healthy eating and how much we love vegetables. And it will be a fun time for sure. So if you're interested in learning more about that, like I said before the break, we do have all of these shows are actually podcast. So, if you think, oh, they talked about that a couple of weeks ago and I totally missed it, you can go back and listen. Of course, on Facebook, it's Facebook Live now, but then it's still loaded on Facebook. So you can go back and watch it on Facebook. And then, as I mentioned, we have a YouTube station. And also, did you know you can subscribe to this on Apple Podcast? So Texas A&M, Montgomery County, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension. You can find us, and then you never miss one of our awesome shows that we're doing here. Vegetables. We love vegetables. What else? So vegetables, healthy living. It leads into some of those non-traditional 4-H projects because lots of times people think 4-H is cows, sows, and plows. Yeah, but it's way more than that. And so in your current position as urban youth development agent, that's kind of where your focus is. So not so much on the livestock, but more on the non-traditional projects.
Right. And in 4-H, we always use the term project. And so folks out there understand what we're talking about when we say a 4-H project. That is anything a youth has an interest in. So there's a few things that we need to meet to actually make it a project. So the first thing is when kids have an interest in something and they want to make that interest a project, whether it be livestock or whether it be food and nutrition with vegetables or robotics or science, we need to have some type of goal. 4-H is all about hands-on learning. Our slogan is learn by doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we want them to learn something in the process. So what is the goal of the project? So they have to come up with some goals for the year, whether it's learning how to feed that livestock, whether it's learning how to program the robot, how to take a better photography picture in low lighting. Any of those type of learning experience are perfect goals for them, but also we want them to grow in that project. So we ask that each project be 6 learning experiences that last anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. So if it is robotics, learning how to turn the robot on, the different parts of the robot could be a learning experience. Coding the robot to go straight, coding the robot to do sensors, light sensors can be another project. So there's tons of things out there. And once you've complete those 6 experiences, we don't want you to stop with that one project. We want you to keep going with the project and come back the next year and begin to master that project. And hopefully by the time you're in high school, you are actually a leader in that project, teaching our younger kids.
Yeah, there's so much to 4-H. More, so we were talking about projects and project learning experiences, and it sounds, it makes total sense. But the bigger picture of what happens in 4-H is some of those things that you just mentioned. So they're learning community service, they're learning leadership, they're learning to set their own goals. They're learning life skills. So it's sometimes in school, there's not enough time to do all those kinds of things, or, whatever your class schedule, you can't get robotics in on your class schedule. But 4-H has kind of after school, out of school time opportunities for kids to do things. And then the other cool thing, I think, is that they have that chance to kind of show off what they've learned through contest. So 4-H is not all about contest. It's really much more about the learning experience, but applying that learning experience and testing that through a contest and kind of showing off what you learn, I think, is another cool aspect of what they can do in 4-H.
Right. So just like the schools have their in-school contests and they have district and state, 4-H is exactly the same. We have our county contest, which we call County Roundup. Then they can participate in district roundup, which will be May, I believe.
2nd through 4th.
2nd through 4th.
That's a big event.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on. In fact, we call it Big Time and D9.
Big Time and
because
D9.
there's so much that happens.
Yes. And then in the summertime for our seniors, we'll actually have our state competition there on the campus of Texas A&M University. But here in March is coming up, we have our county roundup, and we're going to have roughly about 8 different contests that the kids have been working on through their projects, and we're actually going to test some of those skills for them to try out.
And I just want to interrupt you for a second because there's lots of things that we do or we say in extension that makes total sense to us, right? So we use a lot of extensionese, I guess you would say. Sometimes we have our own language, and so I remember, before talking about having no idea what extension was when I was growing up and in college, and kind of during the first few years, I learned so much. But Roundup was one of those things that was really confusing. And I remember hearing a story about a new agent who, his trainer agent told him, you need to show up for a Roundup. So he shows up, boots, hat, rope, ready to do a roundup of animals, thinking that that's what it is. So that's one of the terms that we use, but it's really just, it's a roundup of contests. So there's lots of contests that happen all at once. And Roundup is what it's been called for, I don't know, maybe 100 years. Maybe extension has been around for 100 years. 4-H has been around for more than 100 years. But so, it has been called Roundup for a long time. But like I said, we call it Big Time and D9, and D9 is for District 9 because we're all in districts. But it really is a big time, and that's where a lot of contests happen together.
Yep.
So County Roundup is
going to be March the 19th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Extension office here in Conroe, Texas. And 4-H members can bring their project that they've been working on for that contest and present it in front of a panel of judges. So they're going to be working on public speaking and kind of get some feedback and some critiques so they can prepare for district. So a few of the contests that we actually have going on is educational presentation. So if you ever have a kid that loves to tell you how to do something or like showing others how to do things, that's kind of that is their way of demonstrating something. So we have an educational presentation, and that is kids standing up in front of a panel of judges and describing how things are done or educating them on a different topic. And they can use either a PowerPoint or various props for that.
Mm-hmm.
We have another contest, which is exactly the same, but without props. It's called public speaking. So they have a topic and they tell us about it for 5 to 7 minutes.
Right. So I mentioned earlier life skills. In life, sometimes you have to talk in front of other people. And I think probably one of the greatest fears that a lot of people have is talking in front of other people. But this gives kids the experience to talk about something that they're interested in, that they love, that they know, that they've been practicing. And then it makes public speaking much less fearful for them in the future. So just to back up and tell a little bit of a story about a 4-H kid that I knew in one of the other counties that I worked in. The very first time she did a food show, she would not talk in the interview. Like, she was just terrified. But kind of her mom kept encouraging her to do that. So she wouldn't talk. In fact, we were like debating, should she even really be in the contest. Maybe this is not for her. Maybe we need to give her a little bit more time. Her mom said, no, she's fine. Kept encouraging her to do that. She did a little bit better next year, a little bit better next year. And then she got to where by the time she was a senior 4-H'er, she just had it down. She was able to really talk without, obviously thinking, but she was so eloquent and just very, very impressive. So that's one of the examples that come to my mind when I think about the importance of public speaking is just that the transformation that can be made. So even the shy little kids can really come out of their shell when given the opportunity and the support, and that's kind of what 4-H is all about. So educational presentations, public speaking.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to that. Definitely, that we have a lot of stories just like that. I myself was that exact story when I first
Oh,
joined
yeah?
4-H as a third grader.
Were you shy, Justin?
I was extremely
What?
shy.
Mhm.
I went to my first 4-H club meeting and I sat right next to my mom and I did not move. I did not want to raise my hand for any votes.
Mhm.
But by the time I was a senior, I was actually running the meetings as the club president. So we often see that transformation in our kids that come in as shy, quiet kids, and by the time they're through, because of 4-H, we do push them out of their comfort zone a little bit and teach them those public speaking skills. They become leaders within the club and are ready to go out into the next chapter of life, into college, and they're well prepared for that.
Right. And besides that, it's fun. And like you mentioned before, it's things that they're interested in.
Right.
All right, so you said 8 different contests probably at County Roundup. What else do we have going on?
8 different contests. So we have, if you like eating, we have a contest called Food Show.
Who does not like eating?
So we have categories such as main dish, breads and cereals, which is going to be your grains and your breads. And then we have fruits and vegetables, and we have healthy snacks. So you prepare a dish at home, and you'll bring it and you present to the judges all about the recipe you used to make the dish, your process for making it, what it costs, and how it relates to my plate, and the nutritional value of it. And if you, the other thing we have is if you like shopping, we have a contest called Consumer Decision Making, which is you have a class of 4 products, similar products, and you'll be given a scenario. And the scenario might have, will tell you what they're looking for in their budget, and you'll have to place those items in order from 1 to 4 based on that given scenario.
So you're right. And that we're talking about life skills. I mean, you're going to have to eat the rest of your life. You're going to have to shop the rest of your life. Fashion show is another one that happens. You got to wear clothes the rest of your
Right,
life.
fashion
So
show.
you might as well learn to do those things well. Okay, so there's also a lot more that we're going to talk about. We've got Justin and Joe with us today. I'm talking about 4-H programs, but we're also going to other extension things that are going on. But again, we got to take another little break. But you were listening to the Extension Hour, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service, where we talk all about our people, our programs, and our partnerships. And we will be back right after this.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show. With monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Statistics show that 1 out of every 6 Texans struggles with food insecurity and hunger. And many people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables every day. The Better Living for Texans program is here to help you learn how to make healthy menu choices, save money at the grocery store, prepare quick and delicious meals, get more good nutrition in your day, and get more physical activity. Classes are fun, friendly, interactive, and free, and taught in English and Spanish. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Hispanic Chamber Connections with Dr. Carlos Sanchez, president of the Woodlands Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, featuring event announcements, member highlights, and more. Tuesdays at 1 p.m., broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Here we are again with Justin and Joe, the new kids on the block at the Extension office. We've been talking about some of the things that you can do in 4-H. We talked about also the Woodlands. Tell me again how it said, Woodlands Wildlife Expo. Am I saying that correctly?
Texas
Yes.
Wildlife and Woodlands Expo.
Texas Wildlife and Woodlands Expo, and that is March 2nd in the Woodlands at the Lone Star College campus, Montgomery campus, which is in the Woodlands, not in Montgomery. And then we're talking about County Roundup, which is another thing that's happening. And so with County Roundup, that's one of those things that so it's more like a practice than a contest. So no one really gets eliminated. It's just it gives kids that opportunity to really practice what they're doing. So this is what they're going to do when they go to district roundup. So someone might be thinking, I'm kind of interested in 4-H, but it makes me a little nervous. Actually, they could come to County Roundup and kind of see what's kind of what it's like. Talk to 4-Hers that are there, because most 4-Hers are not shy about talking about their projects and what they do. And then Joe, you were also mentioning there's going to be some like examples or demonstrations set up.
Some of the contests that kids will be able to compete in later are going to, instead of being sit and go through the contest, what they'll have is a sampling of that type of activity set up in the room so that the kids can they don't have to already be participating in that. They can see what else is out there, what they are missing, what they might want to participate in next time around. Yeah. So that kind of gives them the opportunity to just see, kind of get their feet wet without necessarily committing to it.
Yeah. So that is on March 19th. You said 5 to 7, 3 to 7.
3 to 7.
3 to 7. So lots of things going on that day at the Extension office, so at 9020 Airport Road. But if you have questions and you want to talk about County Roundup or any of the other things that we're talking about, you could call Justin or Joe or Jennifer or Michelle or any of us. But and then also Facebook page, right? Montgomery County 4-H has a great Facebook page. Yes. Justin's been working a lot on that, doing some really cool stuff with it. So that's it's Montgomery County 4-H on Facebook, right?
Yes, ma'am. So one cool thing about Facebook, since we're on it, just to kind of mention it, we actually do a monthly photography showcase. So every month we have a themed contest that kids can actually upload a photo to our contest. This in January we had plants and floral, and coming up in March we're gonna have elements of design, so where they have to use graphic elements of design in photos such as lines, shapes, and textures. And those photos are actually taken from the Texas 4-H Photography Guide. So theory is if they compete in all these monthly showcases, they'll have a photo they can submit to our Big Time and D9 district contest.
So because photography is another project that maybe people don't think about in 4-H, but it's definitely a great project, and it can relate to other projects as well. But kids that like to take pictures, we've got an opportunity for you.
And it's so much easier now with our cell phones that we have now, because they have a lot. Yeah. They have really great cameras versus 10, 15 years ago where you actually had to carry a camera with you because you never knew when you were going to have that perfect picture. So you always wanted to have a camera by side, but now it's in your pocket. So tons a lot easier.
Sure. And like you were talking about too with those project activities. So anybody has a camera, you have a camera in your pocket, right? Or, mom's pocket, you can just grab it and take a picture. But part of the learning experiences is, what makes a good picture and what makes what the rule of thirds and the color and the so many things that you can learn more about photography besides just snapping pictures. Right. So with the photography roundup we've been talking about, you can come. 4-H is open to anybody that's interested. So there is a membership fee. There is a registration process. We do like for people to participate in a club. There's over 21 clubs in Montgomery County, over 1,000 members.
Yep, we have close probably to about 30 different clubs here in Montgomery County, and they range from our community clubs that are made up of kids from different backgrounds and different project backgrounds to more specific project clubs such as shooting sports, dog, and horsemanship.
So that means there's a lot of support for any of the projects that you're doing. That's one of the great things about clubs is that it does provide support because you're not out there on your own. And then having like almost 30 clubs, you've got, not every club is for everybody. 4-H is for everybody, but you kind of have to find the fit that you need for a club. So there's a lot of different types of club that you can find a place to really plug in and fit in. Okay, so after they go to county roundup, then they can go to district roundup, and that's what we call big time in D9. And that we're fortunate to host that for our district. So there's 19 counties in District 9, and we host it here in Montgomery County, again at Lone Star College, Montgomery, which is in the Woodlands. And we that's where all the contests happen. So May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Actually, on the 2nd, we end up being at the convention center, the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe. And then that Friday and Saturday, we go over to the campus because it makes a really good setup to have those big time and D9 contests. So, and have you ever counted up all the number of contests that we have going over that weekend?
We have roughly about, I think, 18 or so different contests, and we'll have about over 500 kids register and over 1,000 entries in those 3 days.
So they come from, like you said, all over the district, the 19 county area that goes all the way up to College Station and Giddings, over to Orange County, down to Beaumont, to Brazoria County. I'm trying to think how.
Galveston, Rosenberg.
Yeah, so it's a pretty large area, and they all come to Conroe, which is cool, and that makes it convenient too for us and our kids. We like that. So district contest is very similar to the county contest, except it really is a contest. We do 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place for all of those. Another thing I want to mention is that we need volunteers to put that on, because you mentioned over 500 kids participating, so many contests. So we need people to kind of help us out with that.
And volunteering is it's super easy. I personally enjoy it when I'm a judge for the contest, because I especially love the juniors, especially like for like public speaking, because they're going to give their little spiel on their project, and it's always just fun to hear their take on what they've come up with, and then you ask them questions and you can give them some feedback on how they presented. But the juniors are always the funnest. I think for me is those little kids, but also
The juniors are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders.
Juniors are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Thank you for that, Amy.
Sure.
And we have intermediates, which would be 6th and 8th. And then our seniors are going to be our high school students, 9th through 12th grade.
So those senior 4-H members, the 9th through 12th grade, they get to go, if they do well at district, if they place 1st or 2nd at district, then they can go to the state roundup, which is a big deal.
Yes, that's going to be July, I want to say the 11th through the 14th or
June,
so.
June.
June,
Yep.
thank you. June.
June.
Yes. June, that second week of June will be in College Station. So all of Texas will descend to College Station for that 1 week.
Yeah, so that's 4-H members from all over the state come. So that really is a very, very big deal. Okay, so state county roundup. And we talked about those are things that that are different than the cow, sows, and plows, different than the stock shows. So it's kind of what we call non-traditional 4-H projects. But besides that, we also have curriculum enrichment, and that's kind of Joe's wheelhouse, right?
Yes, ma'am. So it's not new to us, but we are changing here in county a little bit about what we offer. We've always had this being part of not just the Texas A&M system, but extension links to nationwide, all of those land-grant universities. So we have a wealth of curriculum that has been written up over many, many years available. And we have in the past basically just said, teachers, if you're interested, let us know and we'll make it available to you. And now we're actually going to be a little bit more active, take a more active role, take some of these things to them. We're going to be doing in-classroom presentations. We're going to be doing some teacher workshops. We're going to be giving science kits, allowing teachers to check those out and make use of them in the classroom.
So curriculum enrichment is really about helping the teachers do their jobs better. I mean, teachers have a tough job, lots to do. So there's curriculum that's they're written so that it helps teachers, so that it's kind of an interesting area. But most of them are also written so that they reach the TEKS.
Have to be TEKS aligned, yes, ma'am. So that's the kind of what I've been working on since I've been in the office, is making sure that the stuff that we're going to be actually taking to them and offering to them and highlighting at this point are meeting the rewritten TEKS. It is one of those things that we think we have everything straight, and then they'll go back and change and swap, and they're talking already about when they're going to rewrite them again. But yes, ma'am. And to make sure that we're helping teachers, we have to make sure that they're able to meet what the district says they can have in their classroom.
Yeah. So in the ways that we help teachers, so providing the curriculum, providing training on that, either helping them do it, or in some cases it's actually you guys or volunteers helping physically going in and teaching some of those classes.
Yes, and that's what we haven't done an awful lot of in the past. We've had our junior master gardener volunteers that have been able to go and do some on-site presentations, but now That is one of the things that I'm tasked with and one of the things that I'm excited to offer is actually going into the classrooms with some of the things that teachers themselves have told me, hey, I really need help with. I struggle every year with teaching this particular topic, and how can you make this not just a learning experience, but hands-on, again, learn by doing as opposed to just learn by listening.
Right. Okay, so before we go to another break, tell us a little bit, a few of the titles that are offered.
Okay, so as far as in classroom, I'm offering life cycles presentations, and that could be plants, insects, or animals, pollination lesson, insect mouth parts, and that just kind of relates back to it sounds funny, but it's one of the things that they have to learn in science is, hey, how do you describe this particular thing, but also why is it important that this insect has this type of mouth? Well, because it eats this certain thing. Then there's also habitats and simple food chains, and then there's one that's going to be food webs and adaptations.
Okay, so lots of things that can help. And then is that focused at a certain grade level?
Right now, mostly I'm focused on K through 5, which sounds limiting, but actually when you consider what they're required to teach kindergartners and then they're required to teach fifth graders, that's actually still a very broad range of information.
Sure. So there are a lot of, there's some other curricula too. So those ones that you just mentioned sound a lot like related to
natural resources.
Bugs.
Yes.
I was thinking
natural
bugs.
resources. It's one of the things that for whatever reason, teachers tend to ask for help with is their natural resource. And they maybe have been teaching something one way for a really long time, or it's something that they've been newly tasked with and they just want help with.
Okay. So there's a few other things that we also want to mention about the things that 4-H can offer. I mean, in fact, we could probably do 2 or 3 shows on it. But again, we're going to have to take another little break, but we're going to be back and we'll talk more about 4-H things and a few other things that are coming up. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Agrilife Extension Service is all about extending knowledge and providing solutions. We do that by using science-based information to create high-quality and relevant education for the people of Texas. More importantly, this outstanding education is delivered locally, right here in our county. We encourage lasting and effective change that helps our communities and our county thrive. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
So many things going on in 4-H, lots of great opportunities. We're talking about some of the things that are offered in for 4-H clubs specifically, but then also there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily have to be in 4-H to participate in. Before we do that, I want to mention really quickly some things that we do in family community health that are available for families. Whether they're in 4-H or not. So we actually do cooking classes. So we talked about, you have to eat the rest of your life. So you might as well learn to prepare food quickly, easily, nutritiously, all those good things. So we have some mobile cooking schools that we offer. Also, I do food handler courses to help people get their food handler card. So, and then the other healthy living thing that we do is Walk Across Texas. And that actually starts April 1st. And then tomorrow at the Woodlands Children's Museum, Chef Plate will be there talking about nutrition. So don't forget about that. And then before I forget, next week we're going to have YMCA with us, and they're going to talk about some of the things that are going on at the YMCA in Conroe. But this show is it's the Joe and Justin show, the 4-H fanatics, the Clover Connection. I could go on, but then I get a little goofy. So I'm going to stop. But Curriculum enrichment. Joe's got a lot of things offering. There's a couple more things you wanted to mention.
Yes, ma'am. So in addition to those in-classroom presentations and kind of really connecting, we're also offering Hatch in the Classroom, which is we're loaning out incubators so that they're tasked anyways with doing life cycles. And so what could be better than actually witnessing that happen in your classroom in live in real time? It's not even buffered by the computer. So we are checking out loaner incubators to these teachers so that they can have that experience in classroom. We're going to deliver those and make sure that they understand all of the ins and outs of being successful with getting eggs in and getting them through their 21 days worth of incubation and chickens out the other side. So we have a few more available for a March 18th through April the 12th window, and then we definitely have some available for April 22nd through May the 17th. And if teachers sign up for that, not only do they get the incubator, but we're going to provide them some additional lessons to use with that as well.
Great. So there's so much more to 4-H than just the animal stuff. All right, so a couple other things we wanted to mention.
Yes, ma'am. So we also have in-office some 4-H science kits. So every year there's actually one day where it's meant to sort of be a national science experiment. And then they will make that kit available so that it can be purchased. And we have purchased those every year for quite a while now. So we have a compilation of those in the office. And instead of just sitting on those kits, we're making them available for teachers to use, to check out, and to have available for use with their own students, whether that's an after-school program or in classroom during the day. And there are, let's see here, 7 different kits that we have available in office that come with all the things that kids need to do for things like constructing a wind turbine or for doing an experiment with a toy car to explore the physics of collisions and the consequences of distracted driving, which we'd all like for everyone to learn a little bit more about. To Coding Your World is the most recent one. So that is a way for, again, we don't have to be reaching 4-H kids only with these things. It's a way to kind of broaden our reach.
Right, then that's computer coding.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that the future is with computers. So kids learning how to do that is awesome. Okay, what else?
So we actually, a big part of 4-H is community service, and some of our 4-H members in our clubs have put together a great event called the 4-H Special Angels Rodeo. It's going to be March 10th from 2 to 4:30 at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds Equestrian Center. So it's going to be a day filled with lots of rodeo fun and adaptive events prepared for special needs angels. All school-aged special needs angels and their families are invited to participate. So this is for kids who are in those life skill classes. It's going to be a day full of carnival games. They're going to have fun jumps. There's going to have a stick horse rodeo, petting zoo. They're going to have adapted roping events, adapted saddle bronc riding, adapted bull riding, adaptive bucking barrel, and they're going to have a hay ride. They're going to have candy, snacks, water, cotton candy, and popcorn. So the way the event works is we're going to have a 4-H'er kind of paired with one of those special needs angels, and they're going to be their buddy for the day, and they're going to go through these different events and help them out while our 4-H members actually run the event.
Okay, someone has a special needs child and wants them to participate in that. How do they do that?
They can give us a call at the extension office at 936-539-7823, extension 3. Anyone of us in the office can give you more information, or if you're looking to become a sponsor, you can also call us. Again, that event is going to be March the 10th from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Montgomery County Fair's grounds.
Okay, and then if someone wants to volunteer to help with that, because I know I mentioned next week YMCA is going to be on the radio, but that's one of the things that some of their board members and some of their staff members are going to be out there volunteering. Again, they can call the extension office, and we can get them connected with volunteering.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, awesome. So many things to do. What else you got?
So some of the things we do in 4-H, we think about the non-traditional projects. And one of the big and upcoming non-traditional projects is definitely going to be STEM, our STEM projects.
Okay, STEM is?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we actually have projects and all that. One of our most prominent and most visible one is going to be the robotics project, where kids actually have a Lego Mindstorm EV3 kit and actually program to do various tasks. And so we just had our county contest back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're getting ready for, we'll have 4 teams going to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo to compete there. We had a team compete at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo last week. So right now we're in the middle of competition season.
So there really are so many things that you can do in 4-H, and then as we mentioned, out of 4-H as well. There's a few things that you wanted to mention that are not specific to just 4-H members. For instance, we were talking about the fair, and Kids Day is a day that is open for anybody, pre-K through fourth grade, to come on out to the fair, and there's special events going on just for kids, so it's a great field trip day. Chef Plate will be out there. Yeah.
Yes.
And there'll be other things happening.
Yeah, for the kids fair, we're definitely going to have our extension tent there with hands-on activities. The Master Gardeners will be on hand with their junior Master Gardener activities. They're going to be doing parts of a plant, so kids can actually learn the different various parts of a plant as they go through our booth and our tent.
So come out and see us and say
It's
hi.
actually two days, even though it's labeled Kids Day. It's actually taking place on April the 1st and the 2nd, and people are able to register for that through the fair's website.
Okay, so and they can come out either day. They can choose the day.
Correct.
And then you also Kids Fest is another thing coming up that will be out there. You guys are doing the Discovery Village. We also have the Health Village. There's the Safety Village. Several other villages, but those are the ones that we coordinate through Extension. And that is April 27th in downtown Conroe. And then you guys are going to actually be at the library doing some stuff too, right? The different libraries.
So this summer, we actually have 2 dates so far that we're going to be at various libraries. One of the first events is going to be on July 10th at the Stewart West Branch Library in Montgomery. We're going to be doing our EcoBots. So there's an oil spill on the beach, and so we have to build a robot that's going to be able to clean up that oil spill. We're going to be using batteries, a small motor, and a toothbrush. So we're going to make bristle bots. They're pretty fun to watch. And then we're on July 24th. We're going to be at the Tullis Branch Library in New Caney, and we're doing our Rockets to the Rescue. So kids are actually going to have to build a rocket out of construction paper, and we're going to actually launch them using PVC pipe and a 2-liter bottle, and they're going to have a target that they're going to have to hit and deliver the payload to that specific target. So it's going to be tons of fun.
Yeah. So, and for those, you would register with the libraries. So you need to contact them directly. Or if your local library is not offering it, you can call and ask them to call us, or you can call us. We can offer that because we do want those to be available. So great summertime activities for kids. And you know what? We could probably talk a lot more. I'm looking at this list of things, and I think that we've barely just scratched the surface. But we've talked about Roundup. We've talked about STEM. We've talked about curriculum enrichment. And it sounds like just a couple little things. And Dick is telling me to wrap it up. So I just, but I get excited about the things that I want to talk about. So many things happening. You're listening to the Extension Hour. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about more things that are happening. We'll have YMCA with us, and then we'll have Joe and Justin back to talk about some more things in the future. Be sure and tune in every Friday, 1 to 2, right here on Lone Star Radio.